Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very scary. By way of a wave, hands up if you had a 1 hour journey to get here today. Hands up if you had a 2 hour journey to get here today. 3 hours? Who had to stay here overnight? Okay, brilliant. So I like to assume that you're all from different parts of the UK. Yeah, north, south, east, west, and somewhere in the middle, hopefully. I want to say, first of all, I am just a normal teacher. That's as close as any teacher gets to being normal. Is up for debate, I'm sure. But I am like you. I mean, again, by way of a wave, hands up if, when you were at university, when you went to music college, you majored in performing music rather than composing music. Right? Most of us, I think, about 70–80%. Okay? Hands up if you are a composer, that's what we studied at university. In which case I apologise straight away. The thing is, you see, composition is more than just teaching someone to play something and calling it something else. And I think technology is amazingly powerful in enabling you to teach the whole process of composition. Right? It's different. Most of us come to composition at a much later age than we come to music as a performer. And most of us have got to a certain amount of ability before even trying to compose. And in my experience, which is fairly considerable, I've been teaching nearly 25 years, so I'm actually only 23, look what it's done to me. But if you think about it, yeah, most of our students who go into music GCSEs and A-levels and stuff start as a performer. And then they become composers because they have to do it to do this, and we introduce it at Key Stage 3, and they haven't done it before at Key Stage 2, and they're all worried. So a lot of people need that to be broken open. What is a decent piece of music? Well, I like to start with this. Now, before I go too far, I'll just say a quote here from Stravinsky. I have learned throughout my life as a composer, chiefly through my mistakes and pursuits of false assumptions, not by exposure to fountains of wisdom and knowledge. Okay? The more risks you take, the more dangerous it gets, and the more you end up learning as a teacher, and the more that they end up learning as students. It's all about risk. If you want to put your neck on the block, you get great results. Because I don't know, my experience, kids tend to rise to the challenge, rather than go, I can't do it, and go hide in the corner and weeping and rocking back and forth. Although that does happen in quite a few of my lessons. So I start with this. When I'm teaching composition, this is a Year 7 thing we do. It's a program called High C. High C is a free internet program, and I've got in touch with the guy that makes it, and he's giving you a special discount code. So if you want to take that and use that discount code to buy High C, I think it gives 20% off or something. And as the program costs less than 50 quid anyway, I think it was about £16 or something when I bought it. But basically, this software allows you to draw on the screen with your mouse. So all those red bits and green bits and blue bits and stuff are different sounds, which I've sort of like squidged around with the mouse, almost totally at random. And I want children to understand that when you compose, it's about sound, it's not about the right sound. Okay? If you're composing, you're manipulating sound, just like artists manipulate colour and lines and stuff like that. Now I'm going to try and get technical. This is what the piece you just saw sounds like. There you go. That's composition. Okay? Breaks open the whole idea of getting the right notes in the right place. Okay? I want my students to take chances and to be risk takers. I want them to try stuff like that. And yes, it's a lot more Stockhausen than it is Lennon and McCartney. Okay? But they need that degree, they need that sort of support underneath them so that they know if they do get it wrong, it's okay. Yeah? My job as a teacher is to build confidence, not necessarily to say you do it like this, you do it like that. Because I believe in music evolving all the time, and I'm sure you find that as well in your experience. If you do go into writing music literally, I'm going to be quite contentious. Hands up if you've got surveillance at your school. Keep your hand up if you know why. Right? Hands up if it's too expensive to buy the next version up. Yeah? Okay? Sibelius, I found out, I went to their shop, it's at least £6 per student per month. Per month. This is a program called Noteflight. Noteflight is a web-based program. It runs on Google Chrome. And this will cost you £1 per student per year. You don't have to do the math, because it's fairly straightforward. Sibelius, yes, it's a beautiful tool. But in a school, most of us would probably never use over half of what it can do. We stick to the basics, we stick to the basics. Noteflight can do what Sibelius can do, easily. Maybe not quite the lovely sort of copper plate presentation for printing, but you can print this out just the same as you can print out that as well. Have a look at this as well. This bit goes along the side of every single piece of music you do. And as everyone else got this issue with progress and all that stuff, you've got to show progress in 20 minutes. You've got to show meaningful dialogue between you and your student. But I'm doing music. I don't write stuff down, we do it. Yeah? Is that right? Well, in this way, you can write comments to the student doing the composition. You can even highlight the places you want them to look at, like with a virtual highlighter pen, and then they can write back to you as well. Ofsted issue sorted. Okay? Very, very powerful tool. And it's part of the Music First package. So have a look on musicfirst.co.uk and see what will be right for your school. Because like I say, you can get it for as little as between 75p and £1 per student per year. It's well worth doing. That's for your perhaps GCSE A-level end of stuff, when you have to do proper schools and everybody's like, nah, how do you write music? I use this in year 8 and year 7. Okay? The best thing about it is because it runs on Google Chrome, they can do it at home. I've had kids doing this stuff on the bus on the way into school. Oh, I came up with freelancing. And they present to me with an iPad, or they present to me with a smartphone. And they're doing that work at home. You can finally set music homework that's actually music. Woo! Yeah? It's not just another worksheet about the Beatles. Okay? I can play those to you if you want to hear them later on. Cubase. Who's got Cubase in their school? Less than I expected. Who's got Logic? Keep your hands up if they're on a Mac. Obviously, yeah. Put your hand up if you have got PCs. Therefore, you've gone to Cubase. Okay, it's always been a problem, isn't it? Who loves GarageBand? Who hates GarageBand? Oh, that's quite interesting. Okay, so I think that's the problem with some of these new programs. Cubase is standard digital audio workstation. You've got MIDI, you've got audio, you can record track by track, you've got all the effects, you can export it onto a CD, whatever you like. But do you need all the stuff that Cubase can do? Cubase has about 35 quid per copy, but that's with no upgrade. So £73 a student, that's what I looked at. That's what the price was given last week. Again, part of the Music First package is this program called Foundation for Education. This program was written by the people that wrote GarageBand. Okay? It runs on Google Chrome. So you can use this program on a £200 Chromebook. Yeah? Or a £100 iPad. Kids can do this at home. You can do everything you like. You can do on Cubase, you can do on Foundation. Everything, including exporting to WAV or MP3. In this piece of music here, these are two examples of gamelan music that we do in year 8. We don't have even tuned percussion in my school. That's probably the first way I do it. But because we don't have tuned percussion, we do keyboard-based stuff. And then I get the students to actually record a 4-part piece that they've written out themselves. Okay? So that there, exactly the same. My last slide is talking about probably the biggest sort of ho-hum of all. Who's got EJ in their school? One or two. It used to be very popular. Little blocks of samples that you drag and drop into 8 tracks. This program is beyond awesome. I'm not going to talk about this at all because you're going to meet the guy who actually made it, created it, wrote it. This is web-based as well. That is not. You want to do something at home, homework? Use that program there. Have a look at musicfirst.co.uk. I have found their tools so much easier than these big packages that we've always used in the past. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about this, that, and anything else to resourcing and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Marcel from OGen, and let him talk to you a lot about this program. Brilliant. Thank you very much.